Hi everyone, it's Jay here, and these are the manga manhwa releases for the second half of March. It's not every single volume, but it is most of them that I can find. We're going to start with Kodansha, Drat Q Volume 2. Fate brought together Amelie, a soft-spoken vampire, and Paco, a high school delinquent. But after what happened in Volume 1, will Paco's newfound hunger drive a stake between him and Amelie? KEX Yaku Bound by Law Volume 5. Thanks to Taguchi's elite resources, the team puts a name to the shadowy fifth man involved in the Tetra building incident. The race to reveal the true nature of the explosion is on, with Ichiro and Shiro moving to secure the perpetrators before anyone else can. Ninja vs Gokudo Volume 6. The offshoot Yakuza gang called the Glass Children force hostages into a deadly escape room game. Bound by their newfound friendship, Kiwami and Shinoha desperately hope to find each other safe. However, the Glass Children are anything but fragile, especially when their leader holds a filial grudge. Volume 9 of Origin. Selfhood and emotion awaken within Origin, but all he feels is endless sorrow and a consuming, fiery rage. Origin infiltrates the underground hideout, where his robot siblings await, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. Sheltering Eves Volume 3. The anger inside Senjaku finally bursts, and there are consequences legally as well as personally. The systems intended to support vulnerable youths have their limits, especially after children age out. As Yoru and Tenjaku work on healing themselves emotionally, they remain committed to a future together. How will their codependent relationship survive after they leave the children's home? Volume 22, What Did You Eat Yesterday? The big day is finally here. Gilbert and Kohinata are groomed up and ready to profess their love for each other before the most important people in their lives. But amidst the glitz and the gorgeous feast at this luxury wedding, it's Shiro who leaves everyone speechless when his toast takes a totally unexpected turn. A Condition Called Love Volume 12. Hotaru and Hananoikan have gotten through their first fight, and their relationship is stronger than ever. Yao-kun and Satomura-san, on the other hand, seem ready for a change. Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest Volume 17. To seal the Metal Dragon God, who only exists as a concept, Natsu's gang and friends from Sabretooth work together to reclaim lost powers and collect a Philosopher's Stone. When the time comes to put the final part of the plan to action, a critical piece is missing. Gazing at the Star Next Door Volume 5. Chiaki and Tsubaru press the reset button on their relationship, which sure beats losing each other altogether. But after Chiaki discovers the video that's been circling the internet, even their friendship might be in jeopardy. Honeko Akabane's Bodyguard Volume 2. All the students in Class 3-4 of Sosoji High School are Honeko Akabane's bodyguards, and as one of them, Arakuni Ibuki's job is to find the traitor hiding in the class. Masachika Jingu, Akabane's older sister and the daughter, not son, of the head of the Jingu gang, who now has a crush on Ibuki, launches an attack on Sosoji High School. I Can't Say No to the Lonely Girl Volume 6. This is the final volume of the series, so go pick this one up to see how it all ends between Ayaka and Sora. Shimazaki in the Land of Peace Volume 3. Shingo Shimazaki, kidnapped as a child and forced to become a covert operative for the Terrorist League for Economic Liberation, is trying to leave his life of violence behind, but the LEL has other ideas. After a bloody skirmish, Shimazaki makes it home wounded but alive. Returning to the smaller yet no less significant battles of everyday life brings its own challenges. Spoil Me Please, Hinamori-san Volume 3. Hitomi Kujo, self-proclaimed rival of Yaya Suro, is tired of losing both the school's top spot and Ichigo's affection to the class princess and demands that they settle the score once and for all through a series of contests. But Yaya's obsession with perfection is driven less by competitive spirit and more from a deep fear of failure. Ichigo's the only one she trusts to accept her true self, flaws and all. When the three of them are cast for a student film production, Yaya opens up to Ichigo and Hitomi about the trauma from her past. Ayakashi Hunter's Tainted Bride Volume 1. Young cheerful Nanao can't wait to marry her betrothed, Reito, the young lord of the Byakurenji family, but that changes one night when she is attacked by a vengeful yokai spirit, and Ayakashi, leaving her scarred with the mark of a demonic curse. Her cousin Akemi seizes the chance to steal away her fiancé, but it doesn't matter. Reito now finds her repulsive, and Nano is forced to wear a monkey mask to hide her scar and live the life of an outcast. Years later, she meets Yako, the willful young scion of another noble family. When Nano's mask shatters after an accident, Yako sees her face. How will he react, and what kind of world will she get drawn into? Dark Moon, the Blood Altar, Volume 6. Time is running out, and Darden's latest attack has left Helly and his brothers all severely injured, and without any way to heal. To make matters worse, one of Darden's henchmen has abducted Calm. As the night of the full moon descends upon them, the boys must urgently make their way to the Blood Altar or risk losing Suha forever. Finding Camellia, Volume 3. At last, Camellia has come to Louvre in search of her mother, but just as she turns the corner to her old home, she runs into none other than Duke Ihar. Though she successfully escapes before the young Duke can blow her cover, she returns to her accommodations only to be met with his ever-watchful gaze. Hiding her identity is hard enough, but with Prince Ian openly vying for her affection, and Duke Ihar's confusing and sometimes hostile behaviour, there only seems to be a growing number of obstacles in Camellia's path to freedom. Also from Yen Press, we have I Tamed My Ex-Husband's Mad Dog Volume 2. With Wilhelm under her care and Dietrich as her right hand, Reinhardt is ready to get her plans for revenge started, but everything comes to a screeching halt when the soldiers of Luden receive a summons to head for the battlefront. If you are thinking of picking this series up, I would recommend doing a bit of research first, as the first volume was not great with things like ages, and from what people have said online, it just gets worse and worse. Men of the Harem Volume 2. The 5 men of Latil's harem have been chosen. From the shy, puppy-like Gesta to the brash and cunning Tassir, Latil's consorts run the gamut, alike only in their across-the-board beauty, and between keeping the intra-harem relations in check and choosing a man to spend her first night with, the Emperor has her hands full. Thankfully, the ever-reliable Sir Sonort is there to help her out. But little does Latil know, her closest knight may be harbouring feelings far deeper than loyalty and friendship. And if you've read the first volume, that will come as no surprise. My Secretly Hot Husband Volume 2. The war has only just begun. Though the devils of the north are evil and cunning, Letitia is about to give them a taste of something far more sinister than anything in their wildest dreams, the hellish power of modern capitalism. Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint Volume 6. Having sole knowledge of the story has allowed Dokjar to stay one step ahead in the cruel new world. But what if that's no longer the case? With the appearance of the mysterious group calling themselves the Oracles, he must now contend with other readers. Semantic Error Volume 2. Jaeyoung Jang has changed. The previously abrasive pain in Sangwoo's neck now smiles kindly, pulls his weight with the group skit, and is a generally pleasant person to be around. And strangest of all, he keeps giving Sangwoo affectionate little touches here and there. Sure, this newly patched version of Jaeyoung may be much nicer and friendlier, but how is Sangwoo supposed to deal with him when he seems to be causing strange malfunctions to Sangwoo himself? The Uncanny Counter Volume 5. The Counters are able to chase down the hosts to the office of Taishin Corp, but when they arrive, the hosts are nowhere to be found. The only hint they can find is a bloody note at Mun's house, telling him to go to the place where it all started. Tomb Raider King Volume 10. On their journey to the Pentagon to steal Da Vinci's relic, Joo-hyun and his team just can't seem to stop encountering tombs. But this time, an assortment of enemies has all gathered to give Joo-hyun as much trouble as possible. He'll have to fend off the US military, take ABM and the Egyptian god artifacts. A Reincarnated Witch Spells Doom, Volume 6. Thanks to the Marquis's scheme to steal the throne, the water dragons have gone on a rampage. The kingdom of Siepla's internal conflicts only continue to expand. What will it take to turn the tide of the battle? A Sinner of the Deep Sea, Volume 3. Sinner Joe and border guard Akira make an unlikely team, but now their shared suspicion of Lord Harujian's Mermaid Island operation has brought them together for a daring mission. Sneaking into Lord Harujian's residence, they will risk it all to discover the truth of his wicked plans. This is the final volume of the series. Cheeky Brat Volume 13. Next up is Graduation, a spring break trip with the team, and then off to college. She's nervous about how Naruse is going to handle Suwa-san being around all the time though. Daughter of the Emperor Volume 10. The reappearance of Havel may have come as a surprise, but in some ways the return of someone familiar is a welcome sight to Ria. However, when rumours of marriage between her and the newly crowned Emperor of Praesia spread throughout the palace, Ria is placed under lockdown on Kaitel's orders. Friday at the Italia Volume 3. Tamaki continues to enjoy her days more and more after becoming a model, and it isn't just her private life and things at work that are changing for the better. Whether it's visiting a festival with Ishihara or finally going to eat sushi together as promised, Tamaki's relationship with the artist develops too. Go 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 Ghost Volume 3. Broken-hearted office worker Ushiro and her ghostly companion Masako have gotten a talking to from Hashiba Shushaku, an exorcist who has seen human relationships with even the kindest spirits go awry. But who's going to pay attention to sad backstories and stern scoldings when there's so many absolute a-holes to curse? So Ushiro and Masako continue their spectral slapstick, and Ushiro continues to suffer strange sensations and changes. I Want to Be a Receptionist in This Magical World Volume 6. Having returned safely from the Sea Nation, Nunnally and her friends begin settling back into their normal lives. At Harre, the director informs everyone of her plans to enter the quinquennial Walhenelness, an intercontinental magic tournament promising fame and prestige to the winners in hopes to boost applications. In Another World, My Sister Stole My Name Volume 2. Transmigrated to another world and forced to live as Karen, Ichika is frustrated about her sister, the saint who stole her identity. Now armed with knowledge of the magic she wields, Ichika takes on a job to purify a river together with Noah. As the two grow closer even through bickering, Ichika discovers a whole new power residing within her. I'll Become a Villainess Who Goes Down in History Volume 2. While magic is normally impossible for those under 13, Alicia is a divergent, training every day to become the world's greatest villainess. Alicia's talent for magic, despite her young age, earned her special admittance to the Magic Academy, but this enrollment comes with a price, one that might be hard to accept for someone looking to go down in history as a great villainess. Monthly in the Garden with My Landlord Volume 4. While Asako and her landlord Miyako still live under one roof, all the same a brand new relationship blossoms between them. Their daily lives have barely changed, but something feels different. Each day is dazzling, that radiance spreads even to those who watch over the two girls. Nomi x Shiba Volume 1. They first met at boarding school. After 2 whole years of living at the dorms, Nomiya can't truthfully say he's ever been in love. Sure, he thinks Mikoshiba's face is kinda cute and girly, and yeah, his heart skips a beat every time Nomi sees him, but that doesn't mean he's in love with Shiba, right? Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts Heir, White Rabbit and the Prince of Beasts Volume 1. Happily ever afters only truly happen in fairy tales, so although Leonhardt and Sarifi's story has come to a close, their son, Richard, has only just begun, with a foot in both the Joanna and Osmargo and an important coming-of-age ceremony on the horizon. He sets off on a journey to prepare himself physically and spiritually. Teasing Master Tagaki-san, Volume 20. This is the final volume of the series, so if you want to find out what happens, go pick this one up. The Beginning After the End Volume 7. Deep inside the dungeon, Note and his allies come face to face with a massive, never-before-seen threat, an Elderwood Guardian. Even the party's most senior members are thrown into disarray at the sight of this hulking beast, and it's Note's job as their leader to get everyone out alive, though some might not want to be saved. The Failure at God School Volume 1. Modern life means modern solutions, even to supernatural problems. So of course the government would have a classification system, special schools and licenses for people with mysterious powers. Any manifestation of a miracle is enough to be called a himiko, but only those with full certification may use the title of god, and high schooler Nagi is in serious need of a god. The death of her grandmother has left her family shrine devoid of the necessary divinity, and her hopelessly shut-in himiko brother isn't looking promising. But if Nagi isn't careful, her search for a god might end with her finding more than she bargained for. The Fiancé Chosen by the Ring Volume 6. The Harvest Festival is in 3 days, and Aurora is running around making dresses. Meanwhile, a group of suspicious people arrive in town, looking for a girl with primordial magic. After hearing the maids say that they are running low on thread, Aurora convinces her reluctant brother, Luminox, to let her go to the store, accompanied by Yule and the others. However, when she gets down from the carriage, what could be waiting for her? The small animal-like lady is adored by the Ice Prince Volume 2. Liliana was chosen to be the fiancée of Prince William, known more famously as the Ice Prince. And despite his assurances that she's the one, it's not like she feels the same about him. Still, he really is quite sweet deep down, so maybe she might give him a chance. The Summer Hikaru Died Volume 5. Yoshiki has resolved to walk alongside the something that replaced his friend Hikaru. But changes begin to appear not just in the village, but also in the imposter himself. As they sense their current lives moments from crumbling down, the boys continue their investigation into Hikaru's identity. Unnamed Memory Volume 6. Oscar and Tinashe continue to spend their promised year together. Their days are fairly peaceful, that is, until a birthday celebration for the king is held at the Farsas Royal Palace. Guests from surrounding nations come to the castle, but an uninvited visitor appears amid the crowd and declares that he's there for Tinashe. From Dark Horse Comics, we're getting Berserk Volume 42. The shocking appearance of Griffith on Elf Island has provoked rage and terror in Guts and Casca, and carved a rift into the enchanted isle itself, setting loose a corrosive horde of devourers from beneath the earth. This is the first new Berserk chapter since the passing of original creator Kentaro Miura in 2021. Volume 42 has been made by Miura's longtime assistants, Studio Gaga, under the supervision of his closest friend, Koji Mori. From Inklore, we have My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999, Volume 5. After a night out with their friends, Yamada and Akane finally make their feelings known. While Yamada is busy with cram school and final exams, Akane makes a new friend in the game, a girl named Yui. Soon the two girls are making plans to get together in real life, but Guildmaster Eita is worried Akane is too quick to meet strangers, and he might be right. From Viz Media, we have After God Volume 3. Just as Waka is getting her bearings with the Anti-God Research Institute, she and the other researchers are attacked by a massive snake god, and Waka is abducted. I just want to say with the rest of the Viz Media releases, I don't understand what's happening with the release dates. I don't know what you've seen in other countries, but here in the UK, all the online shops are saying that this is released in May 2025, even though on the Viz Media website, it says the 18th of March, and this is the case for all the Viz Media releases for March. For some reason, every single one of them is coming up as the 8th of May. So I don't know what's going on. I have messaged them, but I don't know how long it will take for them to see it. Battle Royale Enforcers Volume 3. In the beginning, some of the students thought they might be able to escape the island by working together, but now tensions and rivalries arise to crush these hopes. Several students have already died, some even murdered by their own squad mates. Squad 2 tears itself apart, and the members of Squad 1 plot against one of their own. As the night wears on, blood-curdling madness begins to take over. Dogs Red Volume 1. After winning the national championship, 15-year-old figure skater Ryu Shirakawa was on his way to the Olympics, but with his mother's tragic death on his mind, he threw it all away in an outburst of rage. Banned from figure skating, he and his sister moved to Hokkaido. When he meets some local kids at the skating pond, they convince him to be a stand-in player for their soon-to-be disbanded hockey team. The team has never won a game, and they're up against the local champs. But if they got to go down, they want to score at least one goal before it's all over. Ryo hasn't got a clue how to play ice hockey, but he sure knows how to skate. Full Night Volume 4. As Horai recovers from Ivy's brutal attack, Toshiro investigates the vicious Spirofloor's origins. He's led to a place called Pauper Town. What will he find in the town's dark and miserable depths? Haikyuu 3-in-1 Edition Volume 4. Hinata boldly declares that he won't close his eyes for the freak quick anymore, but Kageyama isn't having any of it. The two of them fight, setting the entire team back in the practice game, but after coming face to face with how polished the Tokyo teams are, Karasuno realised that even with extra practice, the road to new skills and a better prepared team is still long. Looking for new ways to fight in the air, Hinato goes to Fukurodani's ace, Bokuto, for some help. Insomniacs After School Volume 9. As stargazing season arrives, Nakami and Magari dive headfirst into their club activities, preparing for the Geminid meteor shower party and planning a trip to capture Noto's starry skies. However, unexpected circumstances arise that ruin their plans. That won't stop them from celebrating Magari's birthday though, and they look forward to a peaceful, snowy Christmas together. One Punch Man Volume 30. In the deadly battle with the Monster Association, the heroes are all getting seriously injured, and to make matters worse, Garo appears as a monster. However, Bang is there to face him down, who will have the upper hand in this master-pupil showdown. Seraph of the End Volume 32. Yuichiro and Mika finally know the truth about their pasts, and now they have to figure out how to handle this big revelation. Both are tempted to sacrifice themselves for the sake of the other if it means saving the world. Shouha Shoten Volume 7. The Wara-1 Koshien finals have finally begun. Despite having the first and worst spot in the lineup, Glass Slipper kicks off the competition with an unprecedented performance, setting a score that's nearly impossible to beat. And as if the contestants didn't already have odds stacked against them, one-way tickets rivals, Brutus, have hatched a plan to sabotage the whole event. The Way of the House Husband Volume 13. These days, car camping is all the rage, and Tatsu's father-in-law isn't immune to its appeal. It's always been his dream to spend the night in his car, and he's roped Tatsu into his overnight adventure. But when a kind old man comes a-knocking, things suddenly get a whole more cramped. And that's being released on the 18th of March. Trillion Game Volume 4. Filled with reckless abandon when he learns that Haru has been working on a plan of his own, Gaku settles on an even bolder strategy. His seeming success turns into a high-stakes cat-and-mouse game when Kirihime invites him out on a theme park date. Dracula Midnight Children Volume 4. The nature of time, reality and fantasy intertwine as Jonathan Harker's ill-fated journey to meet with Count Dracula begins. Travelling through strange, foreign lands, a young boy will confront unimaginable terrors that his short time in this world could scarce prepare him for. Fist of the North Star Volume 16. While Hyo fights to save Rin from an army of Asuras, Kenshiro's battle with Kaio for the fate of the Hokuto Soke bloodline reaches its climax. Kaio may be too far gone to care, but Kenshiro isn't about to give up the fight. A story begun 2,000 years ago at the birth of Hokuto Shinken is about to come to a bloody conclusion. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 Stone Ocean Volume 9. This is the thrilling conclusion of Part 6 Stone Ocean, so go grab it to see how it all ends. The Liminal Zone Volume 2. What fate awaits when death is not the end? A group of 4 university students stumbles upon a deserted, decaying village deep in the mountains, only to find an enormous perpetual motion machine still at work there. Before they can answer the questions of who made it and to what end, the friends begin to disappear, one after the other. From Seven Seas Entertainment, we've got a new series called I'm in Love with the Girl Next Door. Tasuku is in love with his cool and mysterious neighbour, Shia. She's 3 years older than him, a big film buff, and doesn't like him back. The two get together to watch movies every Wednesday, but no matter how many times Tasuku attempts to use these meetups to profess his love for her, Shia sends him right back into the friend zone. Can Tasuku prove himself a mature and capable boyfriend? And what secrets is Shia hiding behind her smiley demeanour? Last Game Volume 8. Kei's beaten Yanagi to the punch, even without the several years head start, and confessed his feelings to Kujo, but now things are super awkward. Kujo's yet to give him an answer, and all she can think of is Yanagi. Dinosaur Sanctuary Volume 6. Rookie Dino Keeper Suma Suzume is continuing to make the rounds through every department in the struggling Enoshima Dino Land. Now that Umeko, the Centrosaurus, is out of surgery, Suzume's time with the Ceratopsians comes to an end. Can she find a way to get close to Fuzuki, the decidedly peculiar head of the pterosaur department? And what happens when Benkei, the Trudon chick she raised, scampers back into her life? Made in Abyss Volume 13. Riko and her friends have joined forces with Hail Hex and at last set foot in the 7th layer. Not long after, they find themselves trapped and under attack by a mysterious, invisible force. Will they live to continue their journey, or have they finally reached its deadly end? The Last Elf Volume 1. In a world where steam and steel are rapidly replacing ancient magic, Aharu, the last surviving elf, embarks on a journey across a war-scarred land. With her loyal owl company Glyph at her side, she seeks out the forgotten spirits who once fought alongside her people, offering them one last chance to return to their realm. But there are those who would see this last elf erased from history, just like the spirits she seeks to set free. A new series called At Your Service in Another World. 2 years after Rin Tachibana, a romance-challenged woman approaching 30, was unexpectedly whisked away to another world, she has settled into a quiet life as a clerk for the Magic Knights. But when the king secretly orders her to service her arrogant colleague Oscar Garland, a notorious misogynist, her peaceful routine goes off the rails. But can she really keep her cool working alongside him by day while bringing him to his knees at night? Who Made Me a Princess Volume 9. This is the final volume of the series, so go pick this one up to find out how it all ends for Athanasia. Magical Artisan Dahlia Wilts No More, Volume 7. Dahlia has a new magic artisan apprenticeship with Oswald. Ivano learns the ways of the nobility at the Tailors Guild, and Wolf strengthens his friendship with other nobles. Their company's influence is tied to the fabric of society through a dozen needles. Yakuza Reincarnation Volume 12. The Godfall Festival was supposed to connect the moon and the sacred spring. Instead, it opened a path for the Demon King's monstrous child to possess Yomi. No one wants to hurt her while facing the parasite. Fear and hesitation stayed everyone's hand, so it's up to Ryu to lend a helping fist. Kagen Shoujo, Volume 13. It's summer, which means the students at the Koka School of Musical and Theatrical Arts gets a break. Ai heads back with Sarasa to spend summer vacation at Sarasa's home in Tokyo, but all she can wonder about is her friend's parentage. When she finally gets some answers, will it change how she looks at Sarasa? Tokyo Revengers Omnibus 29 to 31. This is it, the final omnibus of the series, so be sure to go check this one out. The Legend of Dororo and Hyakimaru, Volume 9. Dororo and Hyakimaru are back on the road again, only to find yet another village in trouble. Ravaged by a pandemic, the poor villagers are slowly withering away, and drinking from the local watering hole only seems to make things worse. Can the duo unravel the mystery behind the water and free the villagers from a cycle of torment? The Masterful Cat is depressed again today, Volume 9. This is a sweetly comedic manga about a cat who cooks, cleans, and succeeds at adulting more than the woman who expected him to be a pet. In this one, Saku's colleague Oshiro has been interested in getting a cat for a while. After dragging Saku along to a cat cafe, Oshiro finds herself absolutely obsessed and becomes something of a regular there. She tries to keep it a secret from her fellow husband hunter, Yuri, but it blows up in her face when Yuri starts to suspect that Oshiro has found herself a boyfriend. Hikariman Omnibus 3 to 4. In his guise as electrified superhero Hikariman, young high schooler otaku Shirochi Hikari has taken care of most of his tormentors, but then the super-yoked upperclassman Daya shows up at his house looking for revenge. Even if Hikariman can defeat him, does that make him a hero or just a high-voltage bully in his own right? Dungeon Friends Forever Volume 4. Van, Ryuka, and Prominence, a trio once as thick as thieves, but when Prom reunites with his friends at the wormhole, will they get along as well as they once did? Or will his new role as the great hero prove an insurmountable obstacle? His Majesty the Demon King's Housekeeper Volume 9. The Demon King has suddenly collapsed, and only one prescription will bring him relief, a nap with his favourite housekeeper, Sakura. As she drifts into a worry-filled sleep in his arms, Sakura dreams of the ruler covered in a blanket of ash. She had this dream when she first came to the demon realm. Could there be a deeper significance to it? Before You Discard Me, I Shall Have My Way With You Volume 3. This is described as an angsty romantic drama about two stubborn lovers reconciling with their pasts. In this one, Lucilia is jealous of Agnes's relationship with her second cousin, and Agnes still can't forget how Lucilia smiled at Lily. When someone from the past reappears unexpectedly, Will the newlyweds put their stubbornness and pride aside in time to save each other, or will they be separated as truths from long ago are revealed? Breakfast with My Two-Tailed Cats Volume 3. Asano Sorichiro lives together with his cat Ni, who became a two-tailed, talking nekomata after the death of his wife. Enjoying a slow-paced life in a countryside rich with nature, they learn more about food and living from their neighbours, and find that they are influencing them in return. You Are My Alpha. Shunya and Ryota are honor students attending a prestigious high school exclusively for male alphas. And while their alpha nature places them at the top of the social hierarchy, these two friends hope to one day create new medicines that help amigas instead, and put an end to the discrimination they face. But everything changes in an instant, when Shunya suddenly undergoes a change. From Tokyo Pop, we have a new series called Trapped by His Love, The Duke's Unexpected Bride. While her engagement to a childhood bully is announced, Alice Coleman, the gentle-hearted and serious daughter of an impoverished, noble family, is utterly aghast. In a desperate bid to find someone to stand in as an alternative fiancé, she blurts out a proposal to the wealthy, high-ranking son of a duke, Arthur Grindelbard, and to her shock, he accepts. Despite the strange beginning of their engagement, Arthur is an adoring fiancé to Alice, eager to spoil her with luxurious gifts and earn her affection. But behind his charming smile and solicitous attention lies a deeper intent and focus, hints of a man who has had his eye upon Alice for far longer than he cares to admit. Comic Party Wonderlove Volume 2. Now that BL authors Raizo and Shinobu are officially dating, Shinobu has started receiving threatening letters in the mail. Raizo's literary instinct leads them to their first suspect, but the mystery gets deeper from there. From Square Enix, Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You Volume 4. Sasaki begins to realise the importance of the bond he shares with Tayama. The new year kicks off with Sasaki forgetting his own birthday, meeting Daigoro's owner, and discovering a new side of Tayama. One thing never changes: Tayama's light-hearted teasing of Sasaki. When Sasaki starts hoping this era never ends, will one night change everything? Always a Catch, How I Punched My Way into Marrying a Prince, Volume 2. Upon making a triumphant homecoming to inform her family back in the kingdom of Muro of the good news of her engagement, Maria discovers that her father, who's also the one who taught her martial arts, isn't acting like his normal self. While she's thrilled to see her mother and sisters again, along with Tio, her adorable baby brother, it turns out her happily ever after has some hurdles in the way. So those are most of the releases for the second half of March. There's quite a lot there. And there's a lot that I want to buy. I hope there's a lot of volumes there that you also want to read. As always, if you want to use the code Jay'sManga, it will get you an extra 5% off at SciFier.com. And they already have really discounted prices anyway, so it's nice to get that extra 5% off. Especially with the more expensive volumes, like the full colour manhwas. I hope you have a fantastic book buying month, everyone. Bye!